Welcome everybody to San Francisco Zine Fest Cyberfest. Tonight we are having our 10th show and tell group. This is Group J. Just to let you know the format of tonight's show, we're gonna start off with a little bit of housekeeping. I'm gonna give a little bit of an introduction to San Francisco Zine Fest and Cyberfest. Going to go over some of our house rules and expectations. Then our exhibitors who are presenting tonight are going to go into a breakout room for a few minutes, during which I will do something to entertain you all. And then when the exhibitors come back from the breakout rooms, they will have the opportunity to present their work, and that's going to be, of course, the bulk of tonight. And then if anybody has any questions, we'll be able to talk to exhibitors about any questions that you might have for them. And you can ask those questions in the Facebook live chat or the YouTube live chat. And then we will close up and let you know what is happening with the rest of Cyberfest. So, first of all, San Francisco Zine Fest was founded in 2001 as a gathering place for writers and artists from around the world, but especially the Bay Area. Typically held as a one-day event at the County Fair Building in Golden Gate Park, our 2019 festival had about 240 exhibitors and over 5,000 attendees. Due to COVID-19, our 2020 festival is going 100% virtual. This show and tell session, is being hosted by me, not Neil Ballard. I am Lauren Davis. I am going to just type my name in here live. This is what happens when we do a live stream. One of the volunteer organizers of SF Zine Fest. What is Cyberfest? Cyberfest is a 3-week event that we are having from September 6th through September 26th. We are having exhibitor show and tells, readings, workshops, demos, interviews, all sorts of things. And because it's 3 weeks long, we're having 3 guests of honor. Our guest of honor for our first week was Alex L. Combs. This week, our guest of honor is Death P. Sun. And starting on Sunday, for our 3rd week, our guest of honor is going to be Tana Tucker. Just want to let you know a little bit about our Safer Spaces policy. We are committed to providing a harassment-free experience for everyone, regardless of gender, gender identity, expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, or religion. We will not tolerate harassment at SFZF in any form. Individuals violating the Safer Spaces policy may be sanctioned or expelled from the space or the event at the discretion of any SF Zine Fest organizer. So we ask that everyone please respect people's opinions, beliefs, differing states of being, and differing points of view. Always get explicit verbal consent before taking someone's photo or crossing other personal boundaries. Be responsible for your actions and aware that they may have an effect on others regardless of your original intent. And just remember, a safe and responsible community is everyone's responsibility. Guidelines for Zoom. We ask that folks who are in the Zoom meeting keep their videos off unless they're actively presenting. This will prevent lagging in the video and just make the stream healthier and make everybody's video quality a little bit better. Also, please keep yourself on mute unless you're actively presenting. If you have a question, we have a chat in the Zoom, and there are chat moderators here to help. Each artist will have 4 minutes to share their work, and you may use your 4 minutes however you like. And if you'd like to use the live chat to compliment each other or say hi, please feel free to do that. There's been a lot of great cheerleading in the Zoom live chat. Be mindful of folks who are blind or visually impaired by being specific and descriptive when sharing your work. This also helps because not everybody's video quality is super awesome right now. This Zoom session is being recorded and broadcast to Facebook and YouTube. The live chat inside the Zoom is not being broadcast, but video and audio is. And above all, we ask that everyone please be respectful. All right, momentarily, I am going to have our exhibitors go into a breakout room. This is basically going to be a small private room where they can just chat for a minute, say hi, get to know each other, get to actually speak to each other before they present to everybody else. And you'll have 3 minutes, exhibitors, before we bring you back into the main room. And you can talk about whatever you want. I provided a prompt in case you're stumped for something to talk about. And my prompt for today is, who is someone that you wish would make a zine? Maybe somebody that you know, a friend, a family member, maybe somebody famous. Who would you like to see a zine from? So have a good time in the breakout room. And while folks are going into the breakout room, I'm going to chat with you all for a moment and talk about something that I have been really excited about. Something that has been bringing me great joy during pandemic times has been comics and zines made by children. They have been making me extremely, extremely happy. And so I'm going to actually share a comic that a kid sent me in the mail, which was exciting. I believe that this was this person's first piece of mail that they had ever sent. And so this is The Chip and the Salsa Makes a Full Color Comic. Fun, action, laughs. I believe it was inspired, at least somewhat, by Dogman. So one day, the Chip and the Salsa meet each other. It's exciting. And Chip and the Salsa say at the same time, "Hi, let's be friends." They made a stage outside. You can see they have a tree house. They got a great stage happening with a heart-shaped backdrop, drum set, guitar. 2 hours later, breakfast time. The Chip says, "Cereal and milk for me." Salsa says, "Hot potato and gravy for me." And then after breakfast, "So full, me too." After, "Let's make a comic," says the Chip. "Okay," says the Salsa. And so this is Chip and Salsa, our first complete comic. Enjoy. Pencil versus eraser. And Eraser has a fun pencil-shaped ray gun. One day, Eraser sat in his jail cell. Every time I have a plan, Pencil always messes it up. And this is Eraser escaping from jail while a guard just doesn't seem to care, escaping out of a hole. Bye. And Eraser is back in their lair. Perfect. And Eraser takes out their ray gun and zaps something. "No more words." Zap. Eraser zapped every word in the street and apparently caused a fender bender because there was no word on the stop sign. Eraser zapped every book in the city. Bookstore. "Hey, all my books are gone." Eraser got on a plane and zapped all the books in the world. Zap. Soon, everyone was dumb. Duh, I haven't took a bath in ages. Everyone was super dumb. This person here is saying, "Duh, there's chocolate by this thing. This thing is a bomb." Pencil saved the day. Boom. I guess the explosion was not a bad thing because there are rainbows everywhere. Boom. Soon the books were restored. Yay, we are not dumb now. The end. And at the end, we come back to Chip and Salsa, and they ask, "Did you like it?" Chip says, "I made an opinion page," and there's a checkbox of yes or no. And the end. And there's even like a small little adorable imprint on the back because children are amazing and are somehow making better comics than I am. So this was by a second grader named Lucy. And thank you, Lucy, for giving me fodder to talk about during this breakout room. So gradually folks are going to be coming back in, and I will be giving them a chance to present very soon. All right, it looks like some folks are still in their breakout room, which is a-okay. I will set up the slides in the meantime. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen again while we're just getting everybody settled back in. So just so that everybody knows what to expect when they're presenting. When you get on the camera, just tell us your name and your pronouns. Tell us where you're from. Are you from the Bay Area? Are you somewhere else? And tell us a little bit about yourself and your work. You can show us something. You can read something from one of your zines or comics. And this is going to be the presenting order tonight. And so first off, we have a solitary animal.
Okay, hi y'all. I'm going to try and share my screen. Oh, are you able to see it?
Yes, I can see the screen. I cannot see you. I don't know if that's on purpose.
That's chill. Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
So I'm a solitary animal. I use they, them pronouns. I am in the Bay Area. I was born in Taiwan, grew up in Georgia. Now I'm in the Bay. So I thought I would share just like my website because I tried to put all my zines and stuff on here so people would be able to read them. So, you know, I have a bunch of Inktober zines. I have like a figure drawing zine that was with the BIPOC figure drawing group in the Bay last year. What other zines? I have a zine of cats. From Siemens for Inktober, and I have a zine about kind of being in diaspora from multiple diasporas. You know, what does it mean to be an immigrant? What does it mean to live in a place and always be a guest on that land and not really having a homeland? Yeah. And more Inktober, and I have a couple zines on asexuality. So those are my zines. I have some prints. Let's see. So this was one based on Ursula Le Guin, her two books, The Dispossessed and Always Coming Home. I was really thinking about diaspora feelings. And like got, you know, 23andMe done and was having all these feelings about like genetics and like who, you know, who defines your identity. And I also have coloring pages for earthquake emergency. So if you click, you can color in your own emergency kit and make sure that you are safe and ready. Other things I have are just like buttons and stickers. And usually what I love about Zine Fest is when I table, I always ask people to trade with me. So I guess in this cyber format, just like contact me through Gmail, Instagram, Twitter. I'm a solitary animal on all of those. And I'd love to trade with you. And I guess I had some in progress zines that I wanted to show because I really wanted to get some new zines done for Zine Fest, but I had poor time management. So I thought I'd just show some drafts. One of them, I'm taking an anatomy class. So this will probably, I'll format it in the zine, you know, for anatomy. I had another zine. It's on kind of like autistic joy and kind of like the narratives around autism a lot of the time are negative, but I think there's a lot of joy in being autistic. So this is in progress. And I have a bonus zine that's just a bunch of recipes and meal planning tips for large groups of people. So that's me. My website is asolitaryanimal.com, which really just redirects to a Tumblr site. And that's about it.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing the work in progress. That's really cool. I like I like that there's sort of maybe a little bit less pressure to feel like everything has to be done before we can show things, because everything is now being shared in this this digital format. Yeah, and I love that you're doing zine trading, even though we're not all in person. I feel like that's one of the big things that's missing. Okay, next up we have AIWS, and that is Lex.
Hi everyone, my name is Lex and I pronounce they, them. I was born and grew up in Lithuania. It's a small country near to Baltic Sea in Europe. For a few years I lived in California, Bay Area, Oakland, and island of Alameda. Now I'm back to Europe and I live in Berlin. So I'm gonna show some of my zines to you. Most of the zines I make, they're about disability, ableism, neurodiversity. That's one of my newest zines. It's called Disability is Not a Burden, Ableism Is. And in the zine, I talk about how disability by society is seen as some sort of something is wrong with you, you need to change, your burden on all the people around you, and it is actually not true. Another zine that I made last summer, it's Stacy the cat taught me self-care and self-love. It's about the cat who I lived when I was living in United States. Her name is Stacy and she was a senior cat. Then I met her, she was about 20 years old. So she was already pretty old, but she was amazing. I feel like she saved my life multiple times, because then I would feel really bad and even suicidal. She would come to the bathroom, then I would be crying. She would be meowing by the door, demanding me to let her in. And then she would come and just walk around me, trying to get me to come back to bed with her. And at the same time, she was demanding lots of attention from me, but respecting my boundaries when I needed to be alone. Another zine that I also really like is Sorry I'm Not Good Enough Ally for All Allies. And it's illustrated zine. There I do small illustrations and write some sort of a quotes about what people might say to certain groups of people. For example, oh yes, please tell me more about how ableism affects you as a non-disabled person and how we disabled people could make life easier for you. So it is a sarcastic zine about different type of group and how people don't want to accept with being a lie. It's supporting the marginalized groups rather than making everything about themselves. I also have a few mini zines. I'm not sure if you can see. So that's a zine called It's Okay, and it has a little illustration of a snail, and it's a very mini zine, like it's smaller than my palm, and each page says something positive and nice to lift from mental health perspective. For example, this one has a really little illustrations, graphic illustrations of snails, and says it's okay not to do everything. The next page would say it's okay not to be okay, and it has 10 little illustrations of snails. And the last page says it's okay to give yourself space, and in one of the pages it has 6 little illustrations of snails. And that's just some of my zines laying on my desk. And I have an Etsy shop there people can buy my work. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and I do have a website, www.aiws.lt, that stands for Lithuania. That people can message me. I'm also very happy to do some trades if people interested. Thank you.
Fantastic. It still warms my heart hearing about all the zine trading. It's so exciting. Okay, next up we have androphonos.
Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay.
Hi, so my name is Lucas. My pronouns are he, him, and I am from the Bay Area, born and raised here, usually somewhere around here. I just graduated this year, and right now I'm just kind of trying to find my way in the world. So a lot of my work focuses on trans bodies and my relationship personally with my body and just how things have changed in the past couple of years. I want to say that the last 5 or so years of my life have been incredibly formative. So I ended up making a 28-page risograph zine about just kind of my emotional and mental progress. And it actually ended up being my thesis for college. And you can read all of that on my website online, which I believe will be linked at some point. So aside from that, I guess I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to zines. I like to, as a hobby, I like to go out and take pictures of abandoned buildings. So I've also made zines based on and featuring photographs that I've taken on site, such as this one-page comic about this hospital in Oregon that I visited a little bit ago. And that is also on my website, and I don't know how to fold this correctly. Finally, what I have to show. So actually, last year, I took a semester, I studied abroad in Japan, and I made a children's book that is basically about the dangers of trusting strangers based on personal events. And it is actually in Japanese, which is very, it was definitely an experience to create, because that is not my native language. And I have to be very gentle with it because there's only one of them. Yeah. You can read some of this on my website. I don't think I have the full thing, and I hope to reprint it once I have access. How much time do I have?
You got 1.5 minutes.
Oh no, okay. I guess I can just go through some of my zine. Can you see it?
Yep, it's coming through clear.
Okay. And disclaimer for nudity and body horror and some mild gore content. So if you're uncomfortable with that, please do not view. I'm sorry, it's probably really hard to read the text. I showed this one. Yeah, like I said, it's 28 pages, so there's a lot to read, and this is an incredibly raw and embarrassing thing to share with the world, but I feel like, you know, that's kind of what making zines is all about. So I'm really happy that I ended up doing it after all. And I hope you enjoyed if you check it out.
I was looking at it online earlier, and it's really beautiful, and the printing looks amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So this one is all up online, right?
Yeah, these two. The book, I have some of the pages up, but not
Great.
all of it.
Well, it's very exciting. Congratulations also on graduating.
Oh, thank you. It's a very interesting time too.
Yeah, to be released into the world.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. That was
Thank
really
you.
fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
I very much appreciate it. All right, so next up we have a few exhibitors who were not able to make it tonight. So I am gonna just share a little bit of what they shared with us. And so first, and if I'm wrong and anybody is here, just shout and let me know and I will cede the floor to you. So first up, we have Dulce Zines, and Dulce Zines writes, Dulce Zines is a married QT-POC zine and craft duo. We are self-run and write/craft about our experiences as queer, trans, POC, and disabled folks. We seek to make content our fellow humans can relate to and offer sliding scale prices for POC. I just want to let you know that a good place to find Dulce Zines content is on Etsy, where they are at Dulce Zines. And you can see a bunch of their zine titles: I Want to Be Desired, The Anarchist Guide to Gardening, Queers Are Magic, also a bunch of resin charms, which I appreciate as someone who's gotten very terribly into resin crafting lately, testosterone dangle earrings, and these shirts that say, no one has to be a cop. So check out Dulce Zines on Etsy and Instagram. Their Instagram name is Violent Lemonade. And they also have stuff up at Redbubble. Then we've got Luke Vermin. Luke Vermin writes, Luke Vermin, he, him, is a trans weirdo and newbie zinester based in Tampa, Florida. He's been making zines for just over a year and creating for much longer. He is an artist of many mediums and connoisseur of all things strange and unusual. And yesterday we had Crap Pandemic, which is a zine distro presenting, and you can find Luke Vermin's zines at Crap Pandemic, a portmanteau of crap and pandemic, which was named before the pandemic. You can find them at crappandemic.storenvy.com. And you can find Luke Vermin at on Instagram at the handle Rat Coven. And after Luke Vermin, we have another Crap Pandemic zinester. This is Marina Graves. Marina Graves writes, Marina Graves, she is a North Bay zine maker who's been making zines since 2019. They are fat, goth, chronically ill, an abuse survivor, queer, a sex worker, and a tarantula mom. This is their third zine fest. Their zines are available outside of fests via Crap Pandemic distro. There is some 18 plus content. I did check that out. There's a little bit of gore in there. You can find them in addition to at Crap Pandemic. You can find them at on Instagram at Outsider Heart, and that's Outsider with 2 eyes. All right, so let me stop the share, and we will get back to the folks in the room, I believe. Next up, we have Maria the Third.
Hi, my name is officially Maria Elise, but I go by Ellie. Anybody who has a very formal name knows how that goes. So I just want to kind of run through my current zines, and it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you to the organizers. I use she, her. So the first zine that I made in 2019, which ended up being kind of like a windfall year of just cranking it out, it was a collection of film photographs of taken over 4 years in New Mexico. This is my mother on a couch. This is my family at like the family graveyard, is that a thing? And it was talking about New Mexico has this unique history of what's called Henizado heritage, which are Native American slaves over the past 400 years, and even before that, when it was just Indians in New Mexico. They were sold to Hispanic colonizers in the area. And so the state were mestiza and mestizos, and some people choose to really lean into their Catholic heritage, and some people are like, I know I'm Indigenous, I know that we have this mixed belief system. And so I was talking a lot about that, about how can you be Catholic and pray the rosary, but also, you know, you believe in witches and you don't go in bodies of water, like you're not supposed to go swimming. It's weird stuff. And it talks about what it's like to be mixed race and white passing, and how you really have to claim your identity for yourself all the time. And it's, you know, it's kind of that age-old lesson of like, it's no one can define you. So my next scene after that, also from 2019, I'm Not Ready. It was an anthology of people who had had abortion and elective miscarriage experiences. An elective miscarriage is the term that I decided to use if you took the abortion pill but didn't have a surgical abortion. So it means that you take a pill and it forces your body to have a miscarriage. If you get periods, it's like the most painful period you've ever had. So the first half of the zine is people who shared their personal experiences with abortions, and it runs the gamut. You know, there's shame, there's really relief, and then the second half was running through for each state in the U.S. along with military bases and territories. It was talking about what the gestational limit for abortion is, kind of all the administrative stuff, like, does it require parental consent to get an abortion? If you're under a certain age, is there mandatory counseling? A lot of states have waiting periods. And I accompanied art from the Reformation era, which has a lot of female art. A lot of the symbolism here of like shellfish, as you know, which I think is associated with the uterus. And I do want to say that this scene is still not gender specific. So, you know, most people that have abortions are probably identifying as women, but I wanted it to feel welcoming for anybody who's had one, and to also acknowledge the history that that Black women in POC have led the fight for abortion rights, and that you know, we have to keep going and supporting each other. So it's kind of a two-way battle there. Screen printed cover. This is my ultrasound, like from almost 10 years ago. So how much time do I have left?
I got 30 seconds.
Cool. Tiny book of prayers. And then this was a fun little sticker bomb campaign. If you live in the Bay, you know it's tough. If you live anywhere, it's probably tough there too. So I like the FUCK in the windows. We screen printed this as part of a group, crowdsourced. This was my design. This was a friend's. And Long Haul Info Shop in Berkeley, teaching me how to screen print. To all the people that make this stuff possible, you're the freaking best. So thank you.
Awesome.
And my website is myname.com.
Awesome. Lots of just like really incredible looking work. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, next up we have Tiffany Chen.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Tiffany. I use pronouns she, her, and I'm currently home in the Bay Area where I was born and raised. Let's see. So my zine, the one that I submitted is actually my first and only zine. So very much a newbie into all of this. But yeah, let's see. So it's titled Celebrating Neurodiversity, Intersections Between Neuroscience and Disability Justice. And as you can probably tell from the title, it's more of an informational zine. And that's actually because I created it as a school project. So I completed this in July, so just a couple months ago. And some background about what went into this zine. So I'm a neuroscience major in undergrad right now, and I've been really interested in exploring questions around like human biopolitics and like social justice and sort of the overlap between neuroscience, psychology, and lived experience. And so, yeah, I think I'll screen share and just show my zine. Let's see. All right, so I can also post the link in the chat, but here it is. Okay, so minimize this. Okay, so I made this on the platform Canva, which I'm not sure if you all are familiar with, but there's lots of like free templates and layouts to go off of. So it was really cool to just like play around with the design aspect and just see what felt natural. Okay, so this is the cover, and then I have my little thank you, and then I'll just flip through to give you all an idea. But this was pretty lengthy. A lot of research went into it. It's really cool. And then this is my about section. And then I have some background on what is neurodiversity, the origins. Then I have the medical model versus social model of disability, which is sort of the framework for the whole zine and the analysis that follows. And then I have some statistics. I have the definition for ableism and a good quote I found talking about ableism as a form of oppression that's linked to white supremacy, capitalism, colonization, etc. And then I have a little bit of intro to the disability justice movement and the 10 principles that I found on the Sins Invalid site. And then I have a timeline of disability rights. There were a lot of events I couldn't include and also more recent ones, but yeah, there was just a lot of content to sift through. But I learned a lot in this process. And then I have 2 interviews of peers at Pomona where I go. And so one of them works with like mental health and those sort of resources on campus. And then I have a section on racialized disability and the school to prison pipeline. Again, learned a lot from this section and doing the research for it. Let's see, have some infographics in there. And then I have this little map that I made, kind of linking concepts. And then this section on passing, masking, and functioning labels. This was also some topics that I learned about very recently. And then I have more on that. And then this was the second peer interview that I did. And this is someone who works with disability services on campus. She talks a lot about the accommodation system at our school and sort of the, yeah, just like lived experience of having a disability that was once very visible and then now is less visible. And she kind of talks about that experience for her. And then I have a quote to close with and some resources. And yeah, that is about it. How much time do I have?
You're pretty much spot on, but I'm really curious about the decision to sort of integrate your academic work into a zine.
Yeah, so this was a project that I did. It was funded by the school, so I kind of had to make it more academic. But yeah, I don't identify as disabled or neurodivergent, so this wasn't me speaking from personal experience. It was really just kind of handing over the floor and bringing, you know, this like social justice context into academia, where, you know, we never really unpack terms like neurodivergent, neurodiversity, and we rarely talk about lived experiences in a way that I've seen explored in, I guess, like more informal contexts. I see a lot on social media, random articles and such. So yeah, that was the decision behind it.
Cool, thank you. And this is all available to read on Issue?
Yeah, should I link it in the chat? Or?
If you want folks in the chat to see it, that would be great, but we'll also post it in the video descriptions.
Okay, awesome, thanks.
Great, thank you so much. And I believe that our next presenter may not be here. The Transgender Cancer Patient Project. Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so I think that they are not here. So I will just share what they shared with us. The Transgender Cancer Patient Project writes, Charlie Manzano, he, him, and Roman Rudick, they, them, met online, and together they started the Transgender Cancer Patient Project in 2018. They both grew up in the Bay Area and currently reside in Martinez. Besides zines, they are also involved with community organizing, particularly in the realm of health and gender. I definitely recommend checking out transcancerzine.com, where they have a lot of information about the Transgender Cancer Patient Project and their zine library shop. I bought their zines, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, Time is a Flat Circle, but I really enjoyed reading these zines, and they talk a lot about the lived experience of having cancer, and especially having cancer that people tend to associate with a specific gender when you are not a member of that particular gender. And so it's definitely just great for anyone to read. I highly recommend it. All right. And next we have xynree.
Did it work? There we go. Okay. Hi everyone. I'm xynree. I'm an illustrator, designer. Sometimes I do tattoos, but I'm based out of Los Angeles, and I was born in China, but I grew up in Los Angeles. Super excited to do this zine event. I kind of like this format actually, because usually when you go to Zine Fest, you kind of like skim through everything, and it's really nice to be able to get like a really quick like walkthrough of what everyone's like zines are about, because a lot of times you don't have enough time and you're just basically just like looking at like merch instead of like looking at the actual zine. So I really appreciate this actually. Okay, oh yeah, and I use she, her pronouns. So most of the work that I make is about mental health, relationships, sort of self-worth, and a lot of it is personal and autobiography. I have a few on hand here. I'm going to share my screen in a second because I pulled some up, but most of them are illustrative and comic based. These are the last few I've made. It's kind of been a while since I made them. Done these. I also was selling sort of like buttons and like merchandise. Here's like an enamel pin. There's another little enamel pin, and sort of stickers and stuff like that. Let me share my screen. Let's see. There it is. Okay. Is it working? Is it not working?
Yep, it's working. But you're muted.
Oh, that's weird. I'm not sure why I was muted. Okay. Oh, I hope I wasn't muted before. So I think all three of these are on the screen. These are just some zines that I've made. A lot of them are about like self-worth, shame. This one here is about a period in my life where I had a lot of bad sort of like online relationships and sort of like binge dating and sort of doing things in like a painful kind of way. So I'm just going to like scroll through them a little bit. A lot of them are a little bit intense. It says something like, love is selfish, I'm not self-sufficient, I'm half-made, need to be filled in order to see myself. And one of the things that I struggle with is borderline personality disorder and sort of like unstable relationships. And so a lot of my work is talking about that and talking about sort of like the intensity of emotion when those things come up. This is one of those. This is a comic about shame. So I'm just kind of like going to scroll through them really quick. This one's about shame and sort of a conversation I had with a friend about, you know, doubts about making work and so like fear I have about not doing anything useful, basically. Yeah, and here's like another recent one, sort of about a similar topic, sort of about like believing in yourself. Yeah. That's about it, I think, that I have to share. How am I on time?
You got another minute if you want to talk or show anything else.
I have another minute. Oh, that's all I kind of want to share for my zines, but I wanted to show everyone this shirt that I got. I have it from my friend Sean. And I might put the link on the chat, but it's like a big USPS truck crushing police cars. So those things are like in your interest. My friend Sean has been making these shirts and donating the proceeds to the Skid Row Fund in LA. So yeah, I think this shirt's really funny too. So I'm gonna put that in the chat. Yeah, that's all.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming in tonight and presenting, and so many folks for presenting such really personal work. It's always amazing to see just people being so generous and putting their own sort of life experiences on the page like this. If anybody has any questions for anybody else in the Zoom, we have a little bit of time if anybody wants to ask about anybody else's work. Otherwise, I will close this out. Okay. Oh, okay. So we have a question. Is anyone else having a hard time making work during quarantine? Anybody want to talk about that on voice? I see some people saying yes in the chat. Okay, well, if there's nothing that anybody wants to talk about on voice, I totally understand. It has been a great evening, a great session. I really appreciate everybody being here. And these are links for everybody who was presenting tonight, and we'll also have links to people's stores, websites, Instagrams, Twitter, Venmo, PayPal, et cetera, in the video descriptions. And I would like to also talk about what we've got coming up for Cyberfest. Tomorrow evening, starting at 5, we have our Thinking Captions reading, which is going to be curated by our week 2 guest of honor, Death P. Sun. And so he's bringing a lot of folks in to read, to talk about their work. It's going to be a good time. Saturday, we're going to be having a Rezo demo with Shoot Studio, an East Bay Risograph studio from 1 to 2 p.m. From 2 to 3 p.m. on Saturday, I will be hosting drawing games. It will be family friendly. If you know anybody with kids, it will be a good time to watch if you want to have them drawing silly things. On Sunday, we will have another show and tell that will be with Group K from 2 to 3 p.m. And we're going to be having a panel with parent artists from 3 to 4 p.m. And that's actually, I'm really excited about that. I am very much looking forward to watching that. And then we will also be having our Q&A with our week 3 guest of honor, Tana Tucker, from 4 to 5 p.m. And on Monday and Tuesday, we will also be having show and tells with groups L and M, and those will be from 6 to 7 p.m. Buy week 2 festival merch. Usually we fund SF Zine Fest in part through table fees that we collect from exhibitors. That is not something we are doing this year because we were having a virtual event. And so it really helps if you can go to our store and buy our merchandise. This week we have released Deaf Peace Sons festival poster and sticker. They are super fun. I'm very excited about them. And you can also check out the store to see Alex Combs' sticker and poster from week 1. And I believe on Saturday, we will be releasing Tana Tucker's festival sticker and poster. So be sure to check that out. Thank you to Michaela Payne, one of our organizers who has been heroically typing live captions. The words that you see across your screen are not a robot. That is a human person who is typing all of those things. And thank you so much, Michaela. All right. And thank you once again, everybody, for coming out tonight. This is really wonderful. All of these show and tells have been really fantastic. And I'm just so happy that we have gotten the chance to see all of you. I agree with folks who said that they really enjoyed this format. I really enjoyed this format too. I really like being able to just see everybody's work and see, have people, talk about them in this kind of like lower pressure situation. So thank you very much.